Today sees the release of the new DxO PhotoLab 6 software, and I have a copy. In the next few minutes, I'll run you through the new features they've just released. DxO launched this new PhotoLab version along with a new version of their Viewpoint software, but I'll be reviewing that in a separate video. The first new feature that I'm excited to see in PhotoLab 6 is DeepPRIME XD. The XD stands for Extreme Detail, and apparently it's an improvement on the existing DeepPRIME technology. Now, I use DeepPRIME a lot, and it's going to be interesting to see how it compares. I've already selected some sample high ISO images to test this with. These were shot using an Olympus EM5 Mark I, a Panasonic G9 and a Fuji X-T3. The first thing I've noticed is that the new DeepPRIME XD isn't available when I'm editing an X-Trans RAW file from my Fuji cameras. Now, that's a disappointment because I do a lot of shooting with Fuji cameras. Because of this, I'm going to select one of the Panasonic G9 files to test with instead. This image was shot handheld at ISO 1600, so there's plenty of noise in the file. Here's the DeepPRIME XD panel in the new PhotoLab 6. And if we compare it with the panel in PhotoLab 5, we can see that there are two new controls. These are dead pixel removal and a slider called Noise Model. Now, I don't know how these work yet, so I'll use the default settings for the test. To test the results, I'll process this image in PhotoLab 6 using only the DeepPRIME XD option. I've left all the other settings and adjustments turned off. I'll also do the same with PhotoLab 5, but there I'll use the original DeepPRIME setting. In terms of processing time, the export from PhotoLab 5 took 18 seconds to complete. Then when I exported the file from PhotoLab 6 using DeepPRIME XD, it takes 48 seconds, so the new technology is noticeably slower than the existing. But what about the results? Here's a section of the two images side by side, magnified at 200%. Both look noise-free, but the image processed using DeepPRIME XD has visibly more detail and appears clearer. Let's look at another example using another G9 image, also shot at ISO 1600. Again, the new DeepPRIME XD produces a super clean image with a noticeable detail improvement. After processing the image properly with PhotoLab 6 and including sharpening, the results are superb. This looks like it was shot at the base ISO on this camera rather than at ISO 1600, and the detail is amazing. Whilst I'm impressed by this performance, I did notice a minor problem. The new files I generated weren't immediately visible in PhotoLab 6 browser. To see them, I first needed to switch folders, then when I switched back, I could see the files. It's also the same when you delete an image. The next improvement in PhotoLab 6 is colour, where there's a re-engineered colour algorithm. Not only that, but the engineers have developed their own colour space rather than using an existing one. So why has DxO gone to the trouble of doing this? Well, it's supposed to allow the software to produce the best possible colours from your RAW files. If you look at this illustration, you can see the new colour space is almost as large as ProPhoto RGB. The only difference is that it doesn't contain what I call theoretical colours. These are the colours that can be calculated, but which don't really exist other than on a computer. So does this make a difference? Well, initially when I tested this colourful sunset shot, I thought it didn't. Here's the image in PhotoLab 5 when I apply the usual default settings for the G9. And if we do the same thing in PhotoLab 6, the image looks identical. But that's when I found this new working colour space option and found that I was using the legacy colour space. When I switched to using the new DxO wide gamut colour space, the improvement was huge. And it was the same on all the other images I tried it with. The stronger the colours in the initial photo, the greater the improvement it seemed to produce. The next new development in PhotoLab 6 is the introduction of soft proofing. This is something that I thought was missing for a long time, and if like me you do your own printing, this is essential. You'll find the new control at the bottom of the Colour tab. Here I can select from RGB and CMYK profiles I have installed on my computer. And if the software doesn't detect a profile, I can use the Choose ICC Profile option to select one. I'm going to choose one that I've used before, which is the PhotoSpeed Natural Soft Texture Paper, which I usually print to. The software then suggests I create a virtual copy if I want to make further adjustments. Now I won't do that here because the virtual copy doesn't show up until I switch directories, as I mentioned earlier in the video. The other problem that I've found is that I can't select either the rendering intent or the option to simulate paper and ink. If I'm preparing an image for print, these are both vital settings for me. This may be a bug, or it could be something that I'm not doing correctly, as this is the first time I've used the software. The next change is to the retouching tools. Back in PhotoLab 5, when I selected the repair icon, I then had the option of a repair brush or a clone tool. In PhotoLab 6, I still have these tools, but DxO has added some new and quite innovative features. If I don't select the entire area to repair with my first brush stroke, I can now choose to add further brush strokes to it. It's also possible to activate a transform option where I can then resize the area being copied for the repair. I can also flip and rotate the repair as well as reset it. There's even a brush to remove areas if, or should I say when, I select too much. These may seem like simple changes, but they do make the repair tool much more flexible. I'm still getting used to these, but I can see the potential. In addition to the editing changes we've looked at, there are several changes to improve the library management. These include access to additional EXIF and IPTC data fields. In PhotoLab 5, the IPTC content, images and status information were missing some important fields. This was especially true for anyone submitting stock photography. Several new fields have now been added to PhotoLab 6 to improve the situation. It's also now possible to assign colour labels to images, which was an important omission from the previous version of PhotoLab. Something else that I'm pleased to see in PhotoLab 6 is the ability to create nested projects. This allows you to create a hierarchical structure that you can use to organise your images. The images stay in the same location on your hard drive, but now you can create groups of images using project structure. This works just like collections do in Adobe Lightroom, so it's great to see this introduction to PhotoLab. Now, there are a few other changes, but it's best to read about those on the DxO website. I'll include a link to this in the YouTube video information. What I want to do next is talk about the important subject of price. DxO has continued with its two-tier model for PhotoLab 6 with Essential and Elite versions of the software. Whilst I've been using the Elite version of PhotoLab for this video, you may find that not all the features are available in Essentials. Be sure to check the version features carefully on the DxO website before making any purchase. A new PhotoLab 6 Essentials license is now priced at $139 or £129, whilst the new PhotoLab 6 Elite license is $219 or £199. If you're an existing DxO PhotoLab user, you can purchase the Essentials upgrade license for £65 or $75, and to upgrade the Elite version it's £89 or $99. Now these upgrade prices are only available to PhotoLab version 4 and version 5 users. If you have an older version, I believe you need to purchase a full license to use PhotoLab 6. Now if you want to know how the original DeepPRIME technology compares to ON1's No Noise AI, watch this video next. Thanks for watching today's review. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I hope to see you soon for another video.